Hey everyone, this is Mrs. Allen, and today in this presentation we will discuss preparing a bibliography. Before we begin discussing how to make a bibliography, we should probably know what it is. A bibliography is a list of books or other works referred to in a scholarly piece of writing. A bibliography also may be referred to as a works cited page. A works cited and bibliography are not the same, but they are very similar. If we look at this example right here, this is a perfect example of a bibliography. We know this is a bibliography because obviously the title of this page says bibliography, and also we know that a bibliography is a list of sources, and if you look at all of these, they are the sources the person used in his or her paper. I know this image is kind of blurry and hard to read, so let's go ahead and look at some other examples. When you write a bibliography entry for a book, this is the format you will want to follow. The first thing you are going to list is the author's last name and then their first name. So in this example, the author's last name was Sumner and his first and middle name was Humphrey Benedict. So we did Summer, comma, don't forget that comma, that's really important, Humphrey Benedict. And then after that, we add a period. Once you've added the author's last name and first name, you need to add the title of the book. And when you write the title of the book, you need to make sure you italicize the title. So on our example here, you can see how the title is all italicized. So it's in that different slant font that we call italics. Another thing to notice is that we capitalize the first letter of these words in the title that need to be capitalized. So make sure you capitalize the words in the title that need to be capitalized. Okay, so we have the author's last name, comma, first name, and then we have the title. And after that, we include the city where the book was published. So this book was published in London. So that's where it says London. And of course, make sure you capitalize the city where it's published because cities are always capitalized. After the city where the book was published goes the colon. And then we need to include the name of the publisher. In this example, it's English Universities Press. That's the publisher. And also notice that is capitalized. English University Press, that is all capitalized. So make sure you capitalize the name of your publisher. After the name of the publisher is going to go the year it was published. So this book was published in 2005. And the last thing you need to do, which is very important, is make sure you end it with a period, because that signals to us that that is the end of that citation. An important thing to keep in mind as you write your bibliography is always refer to examples. We don't expect you to memorize how to write a bibliography, which is awesome, but make sure you always refer to examples. When you write a bibliography entry for a source from the internet, you need to include as much of the following information as is available. So the first thing you need to include is the editor, author, or compiler name. When you do that, remember you always put the last name, comma, and then the first name of the editor, author, or compiler. So, for example, let's say that our internet site that we found, let's say Justin Bieber was the editor of the internet site. So, we would write Bieber, comma, Justin, and then the period. If we look at our example right here, we can see that there was no editor, author, or compiler of that website that they used, which is fine because sometimes you'll see that your internet source or website will not have an editor, author, or compiler. So you just leave it blank and move on to the next thing. Okay, so after that, you do the name of the website. So on this, the name of the website is the Purdue OWL family of sites. And then you can once again notice it's all capitalized. So be sure to capitalize the first letters of those words. If there is a version number, you need to include that, but that's something that you probably won't run into, but sometimes you will, and when you do have a version number, be sure to include it. After that should go the name of institution or organization affiliated with the site, which would be maybe the sponsor or publisher. And you should almost always have that. On our example here, the Writing Lab and OWL at Purdue and Purdue U, that's the organization affiliated with the site. And as always, capitalize those first letters and those important words. And then you're going to do a comma and then the date created, and that is the date the website was created. So this website was created in 2008. And then after that, you add a period. After that, we have the medium of publication, and that is going to be web. So for all of the time that you use the internet as your source, you will write the web right there, and then you will have a period. So web, period. That's how it will always go for internet websites. And then date of access, you should always have, because that is the day that you accessed or viewed the website. So it looks like in this example here, the person viewed the website on April 23rd, 2008. While we look at this, April 23rd, 2008, it's really important to note the format they wrote that in. You see how they didn't write April 23rd, 2008 like we usually would? This right here is how we're used to writing our dates, but that is not what we need to do for our bibliographies. Always make sure you put the date in this format where it's the day, so 23, the month, abbreviated, APR period, and then the year, 2008. So for example, if I accessed a website on Christmas, I would do 25 December, DEC period, 2014. So you have the date, the month abbreviated period, and then the year. It is really, really, really important that you follow that format. And then, of course, you're going to end your bibliography annotation with a period. When you format your bibliography, there are a few things you'll need to keep in mind. The first thing is you're going to type the word bibliography on top of the page and centered. So you're going to have your page, and then on the top and centered, you will type bibliography. When you do this, make sure you do not bold it or italicize it or make it a huge font. It should be the same regular font that you use in the rest of your paper. You will also need to make sure that your sources are listed in alphabetical order. You will need to make sure you double space your sources, and then also you'll need to use reverse indentation on your bibliography. So that means the first line is not indented, but subsequent lines are indented. So if we look at this example here, we can see that this first line is not indented as regular, and then we indent the ones coming after it. So not indented for the first line, and then indent, indent. Okay, so here's a portion of a sample bibliography, and I want you to notice that it is all double spaced. Also, it is in alphabetical order. See how we have the D, E, G, G, I, L, M, and N. So all of the sources are listed in alphabetical order, and also reverse indentation was used. So you see how the subsequent lines have all been indented, etc., etc. So this is a perfect example of what we expect it to look like. So once again, alphabetical order by the sources, reverse indentation, and then double space. So we've gone through some of the basic things of writing a bibliography, and hopefully it makes sense to you. If you are still confused, either ask me or Miss Teben for some help, and we'd be glad to help you. Otherwise, I want you to take note of this really, really awesome website. It's called the Purdue Online Writing Lab, or OWL. The website is owl.english.purdue.edu. And if you get to this website and you click on this MLA 2009 Formatting and Style Guide, it will send you to some links that will give you examples and kind of help you work through your bibliography and figure out what needs to be included and where it goes. When I was in college, I'd use this website all the time to write bibliographies, and in high school, I'd use it as well. It's just a really good free resource to help you with your MLA formatting. Also, one thing I want you to notice is that I've been using the words MLA when I've been giving this presentation. So that's MLA. I've been saying MLA a lot, and I want you to click this MLA link and not the APA link. There are a few differences between MLA and APA that you might want to just be aware of. One final thing that you need to know before you write your bibliography is that we expect you to do your bibliography in MLA format. There are a few different types of bibliographies, but for this project, you will only be doing MLA format. MLA stands for the Modern Language Association. And the Modern Language Association is basically a group of people that come together and determine standard formats for scholarly writing. MLA format is generally used in English classes. So from now until you graduate high school, your English teachers will expect you to use MLA format. There's another format called APA format, and that is generally used in psychology and other science classes. So for now, you don't need to worry about APA format. Just know that there are other types of formats out there, but for English class, we will be using MLA format.